there's a different way to live. There's a way to live an intentional life, a life of service to others, a life defined by love and not success. My name is Mark Owens, the Eclectic Monk, and I want to invite you to join me on this journey of faith. So this morning I'm going to be making some hot mustard-based pepper sauce for my youngest son's best friend, who happens to be a really good computer software guy. And I'm going to barter that, I hope, for some help getting my website designed. I made him some last year and he loved it. I'm not touching the stuff because it's way too hot for my particular taste, but this is what we're going to do. I've got some fresh wild garlic and some fresh horseradish I just dug up out of the garden. I've got some habaneros that came from the Latin market, and a little vinegar, some mustard. We're going to cook all that. I'm doing it outside on the camp stove because trying to cook this inside is really, really brutal. The fumes off the hot peppers make it hard to breathe. And so you definitely, if you try this, do it in a well-ventilated area. I did it in the greenhouse last year where the wind is open and it was still pretty rough. So I'm doing it outside this time just to save my lungs and my eyes a little bit. But that's what we're doing. So let's start cooking. So one thing I'm definitely doing is I'm putting on some gloves because I don't want to get hot pepper on my hands. So I would suggest that you protect yourself any way you can during the process of playing with habaneros or anything, especially anything hotter. They're going to be pretty dangerous. So these are medium gloves, and I hope they will fit on my less than medium hands. All right, there we go. Got some gloves. So what I'm going to do is take my horseradish, cut the outer layer off of that. And it smells good. I love horseradish. Horseradish, of course, is the main ingredient in wasabi, which is, you know, Asian spicy. So that may be enough. Good and fine. A little bit finer. I'm expecting the horseradish to cook down in the solution as I cook it down with the peppers. So it should break down, but I want to get it as finely chopped as I can to make that process as easy as we can make it. The thing we've got here are some really nice fresh garlic pods that I just pulled out of the garden. It's a little early actually. These will get much bigger as they grow. It's only February, so I'm just going to cut up this fresh garlic. There we go. There we got the garlic, the horseradish, nice and chopped. About half of it into the pot. Thinking I'm going to have to do this in 2 batches. Alright, this is the dangerous part. Take these hot peppers. I'm going to cut the tops off of them. I'm leaving the seeds in because the seeds give you some heat. So I'm just going to take them, kind of cut them up, and then drop the peppers in. To my plate. And the idea is we're just going to reduce these peppers down in vinegar and water until they are liquid, along with the garlic and the horseradish. And then we're going to add mustard to that solution. So the question is, can I just do all this at one time? Let's be daring. Let's cook it all at once. A little bit better if it was summer and these were peppers that I had picked out of my own garden. We'll probably do that again. I will grow some hot peppers for my son-in-law and for other people who like really hot things. That one's bad. I like, go ahead and scrape the rest of that stuff in there. So that is what we've got in the pot. So I'm going to pour some vinegar in there until it just about covers it. So there we go. We're going to take this, put it on the stove. All right. First things first. There we go. We're off to the races. we're boiling good. I'm going to reduce the heat a little bit, so I don't want to boil the vinegar off too fast. But yeah, the vinegar and that pepper, that is some really potent things. I do have some water. Add into that just to keep it from boiling off. Then I'm going to just cover it and let it simmer until it cooks down. So we've been cooking for about 10 minutes or so, and you can see that the peppers are starting to break down. That's what we want. I want it for the peppers to basically completely break down in the liquid. And then we'll add the mustard, let it simmer for a little bit, and then it'll be done. So figuring about another 10 minutes, and we should have what we need. All right, so you can see we're pretty much down to a mashed pepper consistency here. So I'm going to go ahead and add the mustard, and we'll let that cook down. Just using your basic brown mustard. Again, this is not for me, but last time I made this, I was told that it was fantastic. So I guess if you like really spicy mustard, this would be the stuff for you. I'm just going to put that in there. And I've got two, just what, 12 ounce, yeah, two 12-ounce jars. Let's see if it will all fit in there. Just pour that in. I think that's all it's going to take. I'm going to put a little water in there. Shake that up good. Way down. And I'm just going to let that simmer on a really low heat. Just covered. It's going to let it sit there and heat up so it can get nice and blended. Give that about 5 minutes, and then we're going to be done with it. It'll be ready to put in a jar. We have made mustard sauce. Now I'm just going to pour it into this jar. Too much? I'll be so happy. Mustard sauce with habanero peppers. Well, greetings, fellow travelers. It's Thursday, and here's what has happened to me since last we met. We had a great weekend. Weather was nice. I went for a hike with some friends on Saturday. Sunday, of course, was church, and had some other friends come over afterwards and spend the day with us. And then Monday rolled around, and I went out and did the local food delivery thing in earnest, right? I kept some good records, and I went out to see how that worked. And had an interesting day. Went out and tried again on Tuesday, and basically after 2 days and kind of using a couple of different approaches, I figured out that I'm averaging about $10 an hour
driving the local deliveries. If you want the full breakdown, you can go listen to my recent podcast. It's called The Truth About Grub Dash is the name of it. And I break down the financials, and then I tell the stories of some of the deliveries that I made. So go over to The Eclectic Monk on Anchor or Spotify. It's also on Apple, iTunes, Google Podcast. It's on several. So, but you can go in, put it into your internet browser, and you can find The Eclectic Monk on Spotify. It's the easiest one to find, or Anchor. So, basically decided to do a recalculation. I could make, $10 an hour at McDonald's and not be putting a lot of miles on my car. So I don't want to do that, especially with gasoline going through the roof. Today it's up to about $3.29 a gallon. The expectation is that it's going to go higher, and so it really is a problem to, your operating costs just are going to go through the roof. Hard to make any money doing that. So I kind of changed gears. I'm helping my wife and with her business. Today, on Thursday, I actually went and got fingerprinted for the school board to begin my bus driving training on Monday. So I will begin actually working. I'll be getting paid to train starting Monday. So at least I'll be making something. And that's kind of where we're at. It's been a very interesting week. Our rhythm is much the same. I'm used to waking up at a certain time. I still kind of wake up and get busy. But, and of course, I teach a Bible study on Wednesday night. On Thursdays, I meet some friends for prayer. Tonight, I actually went to worship practice. I'll be worship leading this Sunday, which is fun. So I always love doing music. So it's been a busy week, and then today, of course, we got up and got the news that Russia has invaded the Ukraine, and it's kind of hard to say where that's going to go, because they're, are we going into World War III? Possibly. Are we seeing the beginning of the next phase of totalitarian control? Possibly. Will things just kind of blow over and settle down and nothing really come of it? Well, it's hard to do that when Russia is definitely attacking the Ukraine, and of course NATO and the United States have been saber rattling for weeks. So kind of sobering to realize that, we could be seeing a series of events, another chain reaction that leads to a major global conflict. And that's not a pretty thought, but it's the world we're in. And again, part of, my feeling on this journey was that the Lord was leading me out of, the long-term job that I had, the career that I had built, to serve others, to be available to serve and to give of myself. And so we are certainly trusting in Him, no matter what happens on the global scale. Our faith is in God, and we are trusting that He's going to provide for us, that He's going to make sure that we have everything we need, and that we're taken care of. He's promised to do that. And part of this video journal is to carry you along in that provision. I want you, viewer, to see the things that God is going to do to take care of us. And so right now, as we see this period of great instability on the horizon, begin to understand why I had that sense of urgency back in January, that this was the moment, that it was time to take this step of faith. So we'll see what happens next. Again, got tomorrow and the weekend coming up. The weather's beautiful here in Georgia. try to get some more gardening done, and yeah, that's it. Life is stumbling forward, and we are making some financial decisions that we need to make, and seeing what happens with the school bus. I don't really know what my schedule is going to be, but we certainly have a plan, and God has opened some doors for some business ventures, and financially we're going to be fine. And so that's really the big worry, right? Are we going to be okay? We're going to be fine. And not only that, but we're going to be able to give, and to serve, and to bless the people around us with the hope of Jesus Christ as we follow after Him in these days and this time. So that is the update. Nothing too exciting. Again, check out the podcast because you don't want to miss that. But I don't want to go into another 30-minute dissertation like I did for the podcast. All the details are there. You'll understand why it's just not worth it. The money's just not there. So until we meet again, remember, life's an adventure, and we're all on a journey together. So travel well and enjoy the journey, and never, ever, ever doubt that you are incredibly loved. Till next time, have a good night. Hey, while I still got you, do me a favor. Would you leave a comment for the video? That really helps me out. Also, subscribe to the channel, like it, share it with your friends, and set up for notifications so that you'll know every time that something is posted. Also, check out my website, theeclecticmonk.com. There you're going to find my whole new line of Eclectic Monk merchandise. You're going to have stuff with the logo on it, t-shirts, coffee cups, and etc. And there's some original artwork and original designs that I've done with a spring theme that I think you'll really like. So check those out. The spring stuff is there for a limited time. Things will be changing as we get into summer, so now is the time to go see those and support this effort. I appreciate everything that you do for me. I really, really do. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time. God bless.